Now is the time to understand measures. Very powerful feature of Power BI. For this, I will be creating a matrix once again. Let me just put it into the focus view so that you will be able to look at it easily. And then I'm going to put a couple of values here, like I will be putting product name in the rows, right? And then I'll be putting the order quantity. I could have used the one that I've deleted, but it's okay. So I'm just putting the order quantity, and then I'm just putting the return quantity into the values. So now you can see that I have the product name with me. I have the order quantity along with the return quantity. Now, so from the previous video, you may have understood that these two are obeying the rule of filter context. That is the reason we are getting the total order quantity for each particular product, right? What if I want to have one more column here, which is going to be return rate? Okay, what is return rate? It is going to be this return quantity divided by order quantity. That's going to be the return rate. Okay, now this is very interesting. It looks quite simple, but the moment you will start creating the same, you will feel the challenges. First of all, I'm not going to create a column anywhere. This is very much important to understand. It's not required. Okay, return rate, for this I'm not going to create a column, because if we want to create a column, first we have to go into the data view. Here I have to bring in the return quantity. I won't be able to do that also, because you may have noticed in our model, sales and returns are not directly connected. Okay, so we have to change the relationship, because these are related through the shared dimension tables. So we have to change the way they are connected. So that actually mess up the entire model. Now we're going to use the magic of DEX functions, right? It is supposed to be return quantity divided by order quantity. So can we do something over here? That comes into our mind, right? So now instead of creating the column, which we can't because we have a lot of restrictions, we won't be able to do it. Now we need to create a calculation. Yes, we just need to put a function, and that function we need to just drag and drop it into the visualization, and we'll end up having the values. That is what we need to do. That calculation is known as measures. Now that is the beauty of a measure. Measures are physically, they do not present. Think about it. Just like a column, if you see calculated column, that is something that exists as the part of our model, and we can actually see this is a calculated column. Revenue is a calculated column. Price is a calculated column. These are here into our table, and these are consuming the memory. They are just making the model heavier. Okay, we have much more better alternative instead of creating the columns, and that is known as measures. There are a couple of scenarios where you need to create the column, but 99% of the cases you can simply create measures and use them into the visualization. Because think about it, ultimately why we are doing all such things, because we need to create an entire report which can be consumed by the consumer of the report, and they can make the informed decision. That was the definition of a BI, business intelligence. This is why we are doing all such things, right? So the consumer won't be able to see this table. They are able to see the visualizations. That doesn't matter to them whether you are creating a column or a measure. But if you create a measure, then you are making the model much lighter, and it will become easier to navigate. It will become very quicker to use the visualization also at the end of the consumer. Also, it is not taking any space into the memory. So there are just advantages that you will find for measure. You won't find any kind of limitation into measures. That is why from now onwards we are going to talk about only measures, not calculated columns. I have already shown you few examples. I believe that is enough, because the things that we have done over there, we could have done it using measure also. In couple of cases it is not recommended, like we did the short month, so that is required. I mean, the It's required to have the short month as a column with us rather than a calculation, right? So here, now let us just not talk about the terms we have over here. Better, let's dive into, feel the problem area, and based on that, understand the solution. Through that, we'll be able to retain the concepts for a longer period of time. So for this, point comes in that, okay, how to create the calculation number one. So I'll show you how to create it. You can simply right click. So we are right now, I am into the returns table, which is fine. I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a new measure. Creating a measure won't, it doesn't matter in which table you are creating a measure. Anywhere you are, you can simply create one. So I'll simply click on the new measure. Now you'll notice the formula bar will pop up. It's coming up. Look at that. Formula bar is appearing. Now I just need to put in the name of the measure, or you can see simply function, and then the entire function. So what I'm looking for to create is return rate, right? Return rate, which is equals to what? Return quantity, right? Divided by order quantity. So I would suggest you to do one thing. You can simply pause this video right away and try it yourself. Reach out to this place, because you will feel the same problem that I am going to feel now. Okay, it will become very much real life for you to understand this thing. The moment I'll search for return rate, return quantity, I am not getting the return quantity. It is not accessible. It is not accessible. Because think about it. It's an entire column. I can't fit an entire, I can't say that just divide the entire column divided by an entire column. I can't say this is the return quantity column just divided by the order quantity. It doesn't make any sense, right? There has to have a calculation onto the same, isn't it? Either I should say that, okay, sum of the return quantity divided by sum of the order quantity. Then it makes sense. But in that case, what will happen? Think about it. In that case, it will give us the overall return rate. It will become 1828 divided by 1884,174, right? Which is actually fine. But I know you may be thinking, but this is not what we are looking for. We are looking for 8 divided by 234. I completely agree with you on that also. But maybe you missed out onto one concept which I have just discussed in the previous video. That was filter context. Because filter context help us that the moment you drop that calculation here inside the visualization, it immediately apply the filter context. And based on that, whatever item is there in front of it, it will simply filter down that value. It means what is going to happen? It is not going to do the sum of the entire column, but it will do the sum of only the return quantity with respect to all purpose by extent divided by the order quantity with respect to only all purpose by extent, and ultimately will be getting the right answer. The moment you remove the product name and drop it something else over there, again it's gonna apply the filter context and will end up having the right values. Right? I believe you understood this concept. You can rewatch this video if you want to just get the hold onto the words that I've mentioned. So ultimately it won't make any sense to say the entire column divided by entire column. No, we're gonna say sum of the return quantity divided by sum of the order quantity. Now here I'm going to do something from myself, which maybe you won't be able to correlate right now, but this is the best practice. What I'm going to do, I am actually creating another calculation, isn't it? I am saying sum of the return quantity and then divided by sum of the order quantity. I can do it over here like this, sum of the return quantity, correct, and divided by sum of the order quantity. I can actually do it, and now you can see I am getting those fields, but I'll not do it because this is not a good way to do. First of all, I'll simply not create the return rate. I will be creating measures like total return quantity, which is sum of return quantity. That is the reason I have told you that filter context is that much important. I'll press enter. So I have created one measure, and you can see the symbol, the icon of the measure is something like a calculator. So I've got it, right? And then I'm going to create a new measure once again. And then I'll say total order quantity is equals to sum of order quantity. There we go. You know, initially people face a lot of problem in understanding these concepts, but I've seen that the way we discuss it, it will become quite easier for the people who are understanding this, right? Because people always have the confusion between how that measure works, how the filter context works. But this example will give you an in-depth idea about the same. So now I've got the total order quantity, I've got the total return quantity. I'm going to create what? Return rate. So I'll right click and add a new measure, and there I'm going to say return rate, correct? Return rate. And here we are going to say that now you'll notice earlier you may have seen that the moment I was searching for the return quantity, it was not coming, but now you can see I am getting total return quantity because it's a measure, because it's a calculation. I can directly use the same. Okay, total return quantity divided by total order quantity. There I go. I'll press enter because to just finish up the calculation, or I can simply click on this right button also. And now let me just drag and drop it. First of all, I will be dropping this total order quantity for you to show you something. The moment I drop it over here, you will notice that order quantity is also giving me the same result as the total order quantity, because both of them are entertaining the filter context. That is very important. But the only difference is that this is a column. Order quantity is a column. You can't say this entire column divided by that entire column. But surely we can say total order quantity because that's a calculation divided by total return quantity divided by total order quantity, correct? And similarly, again, I'm going to drop it over here to show you that again it will give us the same result because of the filter context. Now finally, I'll be dropping the return rate here, and you will notice that yes, we are getting the right return rate, which is good. Okay, couple of things I'm going to do right now. First of all, I'll just keep that return rate selected, number one, and I am going to just go to the measure tools and I'm going to just convert it into a percentage. You can see I am under the measure tools because here you have to keep that selected to format it. I'll come over here, click on the percentage, and then I'll be having the return rate percent, which is quite good. I was looking for this only. And this entire visualization supports the filter context. Okay, by default, every visualization. I know if you are thinking in a way that is there any way to avoid the filter context? Yes, it is. I'm just teasing you right now because there is very amazing DEX function. I will be talking about that also. I'm very excited. Anyways, so because it is applying the filter context, the moment I'll remove the product name, you will notice that all the values are now showing the consolidated result. Getting it? And the moment you'll put something else like sub category name, I'm just putting because at one go we can see all the values over here. So that's why I'm just putting the subcategory name. Okay, so this way it looks like. One last thing in this clip I want to do here. Let me just go to return rate once again. See, it's a best practice that always avoid using this symbol. It's always better to use a function which is known as divide. There is a valid reason for the same. If you see, by any chance, if you do not use a divide function, and if by any chance the denominator has 0 or blank, you know that in it will show infinite as a solution. It won't show you the correct result. But if you use the divide function, then in that case you have one more thing with you, which is the numerator, denominator, comma, and then alternate result. You can simply put 0 or anything. Correct? That is also makes sense. Or you can put a text over here, value not available, anything. So that personally I felt very useful, and the reports that I create for my clients, I always use this. So it's a best practice that you should always go for. So I hope you understood the entire concept. I hope now you are realizing the importance of understanding the filter context and how to create a measure and why to create a measure, right? I would suggest you, this is one of the most important concepts in the entire Power BI. So just go through with this video once again. I know it's slightly lengthy. Go through with it once again. Practice it. Although I can make sure that once you'll move forward to watch the other videos, you will be getting the very good hold onto the entire concept. That I can guarantee you. Right? Thank you so much.